Hi everyone, so today I have this set that Die Press has brought to HSN for the August craft days. It's a holiday mug stamp, die, and stencil kit. Sounds very cute. Let's check this out. I will say they did send this item free of charge for my review. And of course, all opinions are my own, and the links I have in the description box will be affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission if you purchase items to those links, so thank you for using those. Again, with HSN and YouTube, they might be embedded in the video here. You click on show products or shop products, it'll pop it up on the right. If not, they're down in the description box towards the very top of the description box, and maybe as listings too in the description box. It just shows up a couple different ways. Look at this little stack of mugs. I can see that. Very cute. Sorry. Trying to keep that sound away from the microphone as much as I can there. Oh my gosh, look at these big stamps. Okay. Stencil. Oh, just a couple small stencils, and then of course your cutting folder for the marquee. For the grand marquee, if you use the adapter, the blue adapter shim, and also if you have other machines that cut thin metal dies, these thin metal dies will go through them, no problem. So we have like a little steam. That's what it says, steam. We have tree dot stencil, and then we have snow flurries, and then you have all these like mugs that you can stack, along with like the accents for the handle and like the rim, which is very cute, like enamel mug. What I would do with this one is cut this first and then put in the colors, because I don't know that you'll be able to gauge how far up or down these are stacked on top of each other, and you don't want it to be like totally off. So I would cut this first, place my pieces, and go from there. This guy, of course, you can just stamp that, and then with this piece on top, and then you can cut it, and sure it'll be spot on. You do have a color in there that will color in like the top of the mug. It looks like cocoa or tea or whatever you want to put in there. You have a way to make it a Santa mug that is so cute. So it's like little skin tone, and then like the accents, and then the eyes and face and all those kind of details. So you would cut that out and then put it on top of your mug. That is so cute. And then it has little eyebrows, look, on that same die. Or I don't know if it's on the same die. Yeah, it's separate. But basically, it's saying you run that through white paper, right? You have little whipped cream or maybe marshmallows. So it's the accents to make it look like that. And then the die will cut it out for you there. You have gingerbread man, that's so cute. You have a couple of candy canes facing either way, which is really fun. I love pairing those up together so they make like a little heart, you know, cute. Maybe another cookie, it looks like. Poinsettia with accents and centers. You have some little berries there. You have sprigs and leaves and things like that, but they all have accents to them to make them a little more detailed. And the dies. Cinnamon stick. With detail also, so you would stamp that, let's say, on brown paper, and then cut it out so your cinnamon stick would have that little roll look to it, and a little sprig there. You have things like here's a cup of cheer, warm winter wishes, holly jolly. You can pause that on there if you want to read them all. And then cute little snowflakes that you can just die cut, which I love. How cute is this? Oh my gosh. So there are some ideas for you. Again, the cutting folder there, and then the stencils that we talked about. And then the stamps, right? So I think, to be honest, I'll probably do this one because just to show you how I would do that. I think that one's probably a little more of a challenge, or you might not quite see from the instruction how we're going to put this together. So there we go. We'll do a stack of mugs and all these other fun accents. And then the dies are right here. And I will give you a measure on the biggest die just to make sure you have a machine that can cut that for you. The height is never really the problem. It's the width of something that's usually what you might get stuck on, because if it doesn't go through your machine that way, then it's not going to, right? But let's see, 4 1/4, I would say, tall. And then the width of this guy is just about 3 1/4. I mean, I can see that that line's going right up there. So I would say 3 1/4, maybe a little bit wider than 3 1/4, okay? And this guy, yeah, this guy's smaller. So that is the biggest die. Let me grab some paper, some inks, you know, card base, all that good stuff. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm going to make a red card base. And so let's just cut this 5 1/2. And I know this cardstock that I'm cutting right now is exactly 8 1/2 by 11, so I don't need to measure and do all this funny stuff. I know if I cut it 5 1/2, this is 8 1/2. I'm going to score it at 4 1/4, and I'm just mentioning that because now and more I've been noticing paper from like the big box stores is oversized or a little bit under 8 1/2 by 11, and so you got to really make sure you're cutting what you want. So I have that for a red card base. have a scrap of white paper, so I'm going to make sure that this is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. It looked like an A2 size panel, so I grabbed that by 5 3/8. Yeah, it was exactly A2. Okay, but I trimmed that down. Toss these little bits. I was thinking about making little black dots in the background with this because, I don't know, I just want to, I feel like that'll be cute in the background. But, you know, like blue or dark blue or a variation of color, that'd be really cute, like an ombre. From darker to lighter, but for some reason I feel like I should do black ink on this. Okay, perfect. And again, grip mats, great use right here for the grip mat. Pop that on there. You know, maybe I should have made the background a different color because I'm going to do white for the background of the mugs, but it should be okay. I just like having more color. So anyway, something to think about. There's probably black ink on this already, but I will just grab some other ink here. Oh, you know, maybe I shouldn't have used that one. I grabbed VersaFine, and it's just very oily, like thick stuff. I don't know if it's oil-based, but that's what it feels like to me. I don't know. Look at that. Okay. I can probably get the rest of it from this itself. Get that going. Yeah, it feels like, oh, like motor oil. Okay. I was gonna say I might have smeared that a little bit, but we can probably cover that up. Wash this off really well right now, and yeah, don't use VersaFine for this kind of thing. I'll be right back. Okay, so we have these couple things put to the side. For now, we'll see about that little smudge. I think I have a way of taking care of it. Okay, so I said I would cut this out first and then do the stamping. Whatever you prefer. I'm gonna go ahead and just run this through. I will say, that's funny. This does say Grand Marquis, but you can run this through your marquee. It'll be fine. Here we go. I keep wanting to use the same thing so I can show you how when you're using the marquee, it does this kind of thing sometimes. You can cut on all sides of these. You can cut on this side, you can turn it over, cut on this side, cut on this side. And that's kind of what I do. So right now, maybe I'll turn it over and cut on this side. I'm going to run that through. But again, I gave you the measurement on that largest one, and you can see as I do it right now, it'll be fine to run through this guy. Look how cute. Okay, so I'm going to put this on a stamp positioner. We can move the things around, like if your stamp positioner takes magnets or however you can move it around, or you can just put tape on the back of it to hold it down. Different ways of manipulating that, but I will be right back. Okay. So what I was saying is, like, let's say we put our things down here. I just kind of butt it up to the edge here. And just a few, maybe this many of these guys. And, just for funsies, this looks good. I'll just use this. And maybe the accents for the mugs will be in black. You can definitely do the same red, maybe stamp it twice. Maybe that's what we'll do. Or whatever color you're using. This is green, like a cream color, like a red, which is very cute. Maybe we'll do that. And also if you have inks where you have different tones, you can use that. That looks really cute right there. I think that's that. I'm just kind of lining up. So when you look at a stamp, it bevels in. So this is the very edge of the stamp, but the actual image is kind of beveled in a little bit. So I'm looking at that edge. See how that edge is kind of just going down here? So the plastic of the stamp itself, the edge is kind of hanging over the side. That's not where I'm judging from, right? I'm judging from where it actually comes in. Pick that up. Just make sure those air bubbles that might be in there are out. It is a very big piece of plastic. So just getting those air bubbles out from behind there. And green. See those air bubbles? So what happens with the air bubbles, it won't let you touch the surface of your paper because they're sitting there, But we have that. That's not too bad. I don't know if I should double it up or not. Maybe I will double up, and then let's make sure these air bubbles are out. I thought I did, but obviously there's still some there. Oh, also, if you ever go like this, see that little stripe I just made, like those lines? They will show up, so that's just another way of manipulating your stamp if you want to do something fun like that. But let me get this on here. There we go. Ooh, nice and dark. So again, maybe I do accent these all with black, but what I was going to say is if you use the same color green, let's say, or if you have a light green, obviously you can start off with light green, do dark green accents. What you'd want to do is stamp it a couple times so it's darker, right? So you have the lighter, the one stamp, and then stamp it twice or 3 times the same color, and then you'll have that accent. Maybe we'll make the next one blue. That one to the side. You can also do the accents right now while you're working with each one just to make sure you know everything's hitting where it needs to hit, but I think I'll skip to this blue one. And this one curves around the cup itself, which is really nice. So I'm paying attention to that too as I lay this on here. Just making sure that's coming around where I want it to. That looks really good. So much detail in this, that's really cool. Okay. And I'm using water-based inks, and that's why I went with this. Because they're water-based, they tend to want to repel. Again, let's get rid of as many air bubbles as we can. And I came out really dark with that green one, so I'll probably do this one twice just to match the intensity of the color. So there we go. That was one. And here we go with the second. Beautiful, look at that. And then the last one will be my red mug. That was really juicy, that ink. I can see it's like taking a minute to absorb. Okay, let's move these guys. But again, we could have just done all the stamping like for the top one, the middle one, then because right now I'm moving the magnets around. We don't have to do that if you're focusing on one at a time. And then this is our last one. And again, it curves around there. That looks really good. And let's get those air bubbles out. I'm just pushing them to the side as much as I can. Very good. And then I'll do it one more time because, like I said, they're pretty intense colors. Alright, now let me clean up just a little bit before we go on to do the accents in our... Okay, since I have everything already up here, I'm going to focus on this one down here. And so we have all these different pieces. Again, the mug, the handle, and the little accent piece. I just want to make sure I'm using the right one. Let me look at the images here for you guys. They're showing the green with the green, the darker one. But see, these two look similar, but this one has a full circle. So that's the difference between this one, that's for this little mug, then the one that's for the accents, right? So this one right here, that's kind of like a burgundy-ish color, that's for the mug that's by itself. So we'll take this guy, and basically it's going to hit the handle there. I'm going to move this over just a little bit because it was in the way. And then it's doing this fine accent around the edge, so just paying attention to all that. That looks pretty good. Trying to see if there's a certain spot this needs to hit. So there's a white line, see this white area in between? That's where I want this guy to hit, so that's what I'm paying attention to right now, more than anything. Something like that. That looks really good. I'm gonna let that fall there. Okay. And again, that's why I'm showing you this one. I feel like it has a little more. And then also this kind of thin, so just kind of work it into where it is that you want it to be, more or less. And I am using VersaFine this time because I do want it nice, thick, and dark immediately. There goes that. I'm going to focus on the handle a little bit. Oh my gosh, you guys, look at that. So cool. Okay, I'll put that to the side. Put this over here, and this one up here. Now this one, we need, oh, I put it over here. The little green one is upside down, but it goes this way to the top one, right? So the next one is this guy. And this guy goes around and then by the handle, of course. So again, I'm going to bring this up so I can see it really well. See where I'm getting that colored in there. And then this guy should go onto that white space there. So that's what I'm paying attention to more than anything. There we go. That looks really good. More or less where I want that. Pick that guy up. Ink this guy up. Focus on that. Make sure this is hitting everything and let that soak and roll in nicely. Look at that. Very cool. And then our last one, we'll do the last black accent with the brown or whatever color drink you want to put in there. But this will be the green one. That's right here. That has the whole little rim on the top because now we're just putting that in there. And handle and pay attention to where that black rim is touching. It's going off a little bit there, so let me bring it this way. That looks good. There's that. Make sure this is touching here. Oh my gosh, you guys. How cool is that? And then our little brown drink, which I think is this one. See how this one's a little bit bigger? That's for the larger mug. It's this guy right here. And I'll just place it there. And I use black ink, so I'm not too afraid of the brown ink. It's obviously lighter than the black one, so if it's a little bit off, it's not the biggest deal. But I will have that, and then a little bit of brown ink here. Not too dark. Just a little Coke over in there. Oh my gosh. Look at that. Okay. Let me clean up a little bit. I'll be right back. Okay guys, I'm gonna do one more thing on these guys just to make it look like a matching set of mugs. I'm gonna take this and go ahead and stencil that. I have a black, well, not black, but I have this stencil. I'm gonna get some black ink. This little stippler, sorry. And I'm just gonna go in here. I'm just gonna hold it, but basically just come in here and add these little guys. Now you can do this to all the mugs. So it's up to you if you want to mask them off so it looks like they all match. But I'm just coming in with black to the very end here. Maybe not at the very, very end there since I have it off a little bit. Something like that. Okay. And then I can bring it over here and kind of turn it a little bit sideways like this and just pay attention to what I'm doing. So if I go to here, that'll color in this mug. So it looks like a matching set of mugs even though they're different colors, you know. And just paying attention to where I'm doing all that. Look, how cute is that? And then this guy, again, lining it up to the edge there. And just kind of keep my finger here because I don't want it to get on the blue there. And I didn't mask anything, I just kind of am paying attention and like I said, put my finger where I think it might hit this other part. And look at that, a little matching set of Christmas mugs. Cute. Okay. Okay guys, sorry, I took a little pause, cleaned up a little bit there. So we have our cute little tower of mugs. We have this background, and this can be here. Maybe it can be covering that little oopsie, and maybe my sentiment comes over here, right? Okay. Oh, I want to do whipped cream for a little cocoa on the top. So I don't think it's much bigger than that. Let's see here. Oh, marshmallows. Oh man. Let's do marshmallows. That'd be cute. They're both cute. And the marshmallows get cut out with this piece, so I think we can just kind of eyeball that. And again, whatever color you want to use, I think I'm just going to go with black today, but if you want to use like a light kind of tan color or something like that would work real well. And just like that. Cute. See the little shapes of the marshmallows there. And then this guy. So as I'm eyeballing this, I'm going to go ahead and make an aperture because I can kind of see where that would cut, but not 100%. So I just want to make sure I do a good job of that. So I'm going to go ahead and run this through. Again, just to guide ourselves a little something. That. I'll remove that, but don't remove this piece. Just kind of open it up like this. You can see better where you're going to be cutting. So that's what I figured. See these little ends that kind of come in? That's where it's cutting like the rest of the marshmallow. But I just didn't know how close I need that to be or exactly where. So maybe a little bit of space. I'm going to get it real close to those lines. Okay, so just, I don't know if I can show you. Pointing right at those little lines. So that way the marshmallow is actually cut exactly there, and I think that's what the intention is. So pop that back down, let that tape touch your project, and then add a little more tape just to keep that where you want it. I'll run this through, and I think I'm going to stamp my sentiment on white paper also. So I do have this piece, but kind of got a little messy there. Look at that, cute. Okay, that's perfect. And then we'll use that in here somewhere in just a moment. Let's see. Okay, this piece is nice and clean. And should we stamp in black, red, bring more red in? We can always do that. Sugar and spice makes holiday nice. Holly jolly, mugs and kisses. Maybe we do. Oh, here's a cup of cheer. Oh my gosh, these are so cute. Maybe here's a cup of cheer. I'm trying to see if this is straight in any way. I think it's straight on this end over here. So I'm gonna get that in a stamp position because I do want to stamp it, but I want it to stay really nice and bold. So I'm gonna stamp position that, and I'll be right back. Okay, I went ahead and cut this edge off just to make a straight edge, you know, along both these lines here. I have this scrap of paper. And okay, hold on. Yeah, maybe I'll do it like that. I'm just eyeballing how nice and straight that is there, because that way all I have to do is cut this piece. And I think I'm going to cut it in a dovetail kind of shape just to make it fun. So we have that. Maybe we use the same red ink we used earlier. It's so funny, I had to pause in between where I was working because, again, last few days of the kids being home for summer vacation, home all day, should I say, they're always home. But, and then I came back, I was like, oh, I used a red card base. I didn't even realize that, like I forgot about that. So very bold, something different. Surprised myself. So let's bring more of that red back over here. Okay, looks really nice. Let me clean up just a little bit. I'll be right back. Okay, so all these pieces here for our card, those elements there. And this guy, let's see. Let's cut the bottom piece off. It'll be easier to handle. And again, I'm just trying to line this up nicely. It looks like it's at about 1.5 inches. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, that's pretty good. 1.5 inches. I mean, I could get it a little bit tighter. And then I want to leave some for dovetail. So 1.5 inches by like 2 3/4. That's a little bit deep. 1.5 inches by 2.5. Oh, that moved on me a little bit. I'm not used to holding this down. Okay, so I left myself a little bit here. So what I'm going to do is just cut down the center. And then cut in either direction this way. From the corner to that center bit that I consider the center. It might be a little bit off. Let's nip that off there. Okay. And I said 1.5 inches, right? So let's make a piece that's 1 3/4 inches. I already forgot what I said about the other direction, but that's all right. Actually, that works out pretty well. I don't know what this is, but let's see. It is 2 3/4. Okay. Now, I might need a little deeper, because what happens is you need to cut from the angle to that same. Yeah, that's okay. Okay. All right. So I gave you the measurement there, and I'm going to, I probably could take a little bit off the top just to make it a little more even, but I'm not gonna fret too much. And then I brought black back in because I have a lot of black accents, so I thought that'd be nice to bring the black back in there. So I'm justifying a little bit more left than the top and the bottom. I don't know if you can see that. And then we do the same thing. So you want to give yourself a little extra. It's not going to be the same width that, you know, if I added 1/4 inch or 1/8 of an inch or whatever I might have done. If you only add that to the length of the thing, you're going to have too little, because you really need to have that corner have some extra. So it's always good to just have a little extra or however, but if you just add 1/8 and you cut it, or 1/4 inch, it's not going to look right. You need like an extra 1/8 of an inch or so in the direction that you're going to be dovetailing. Because at that point, that looks pretty good. Maybe a little bit crooked. Maybe I'll fix that a little tiny bit. There's a little extra here that I don't care for. It's the smallest little shaving. Okay. Let me clean up and we'll put this guy together. All right. Oh, let me see if this also would work if you want it landscape. On an A2 size card, I mean, if you put this really tight, you might be able to get that on there. It's a little bit taller, or just no, you know, just let it look like cocoa, and that would work too. Hold on. You know, whenever you design something, I always feel like since I colored it, this being up, I need to keep it that way, but I mean, you can definitely switch things out. Let me see if that's there. Nah, it's okay. I'll put it where it was. Are you guys like that? Every time I do that, even if it's like a splattered background or whatever, if the top side of it was up here and I was working on it, that just is how I end up using it. Like, even if it's like organic and just, you know, all over the place, I still use it in a fun way like that. Okay, so let's say this is like here. And that actually covers all my oopsies, so that's good. I'm putting it down flat because, again, I like super malleable type things, so just gonna flatten that guy out there. Like that. And I'll also glue this one flat, but if you want to pop them up, you can definitely do that. And I'm going to put it up just a little bit so you can see the cocoa, right? So I'm going to hold those down for a second, and then I'm just going to put some dimensionals in the back of this guy. Okay. So a lot of like enamel kind of feel to this, even like that enamel has like those little bits. I think that looks really cute. So I think I'm going to put that there. I mean, you can put, you know, you don't want to cover up too much. I would say like here. It is a very big sentiment, so maybe like right here. Before I put that on there, let me make sure my card is straight. And that looks pretty straight. There you go. All right, guys, thanks for watching. So that gave you some ideas how to use the stencils. I love the little pattern cups. That looks so cute. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll have images coming up. I will have the links in the description box, and I will see you all at the next one. Bye now.